it reminds me of people who often seek teaching that's going to be affirmative to them.
Yep. Stuff I'm comfortable with. I like it like
yeah, like give me all the prosperity,
Yep.
give me all that the Lord is going to bless me,
Mhm.
give me all of the good things. But the moment that there is something that is going to cause conviction,
suffering, submission,
right? Me
You know?
having to endure some things,
loving someone that is hard to love, forgiving.
I was just
You about to hit the forgiveness?
forgiving.
Woo-wee.
As soon as it requires me to make a sacrifice, then I'm out.
I got to go find a new priest.
Hey guys, welcome back to our Vibes Daily podcast, where we are in a series titled Devoted. We've been reading the Bible all in 1 year, and you have landed with us in the book of Jeremiah.
Come on, Jeremiah.
Yes, I'm here with my girl Victoria.
Hey, friends.
Yes, and it is day 2 this week of this book, and we'll be going through chapters 5 through 8. So go ahead and grab your Bibles, grab some popcorn, do whatever you need to do.
Come on.
But go ahead and join us with this conversation. And I'm super excited to jump into it because we got some more juicy word from the Lord, and even some, stuff from Jeremiah that we'll be talking about today. But we can go ahead and start in chapter 5. By the title, I already know it's about to be good. So, yeah. Is there anything that stuck out to you in this chapter?
Verse 1.
Those verse 1?
Those verse 1s hit.
Yes.
It's like they just come out with that hot fire.
Yeah.
It says, roam the streets of Jerusalem, investigate, search in her squares. If you find one person,
just one,
who acts justly, who pursues faithfulness, then I will forgive her. Like, seriously, doesn't this give Sodom and Gomorrah?
I was gonna say that. Yeah. We've seen this before with Abraham. And he's like, wait a minute, Lord. He had to up the number though. He said, okay, what if you find, or what was it? He started off
high.
Yep, and then he
like,
went.
If you find like 50, how about 40? Hold on, Lord.
Yeah. What
about 30? And he was like, listen, I'll spare him. But guess what? He did not spare them. So I guess it wasn't.
Guess there wasn't one. And it's funny that you even brought up this whole like Sodom and Gomorrah. Because what if him even saying that was because he knew that like I've done this before.
Yep.
So like, if there's just one, like I'll spare them. And I just thought like, man, like literally the title of this in my Bible, it says not one is upright.
Ooh.
It says not one is upright.
One.
So it's like,
Yikes.
whoa, like
Yikes.
No one. And even going on, like he starts talking about these different leaders and rulers, and he was like, I thought in verse 4, I thought these are only the poor. They are foolish, for they do not know the way of the Lord, the requirements of their God. So he's trying to give a little bit of grace of like, maybe it's just like the ones who they,
just don't know.
They just don't know. So he said, so I'll go to the leaders and speak to them. Boom. Surely they know the way of the Lord, the requirements of their God, Their God. But with one accord, they too had broken off the yoke and torn off the bonds, which is a phrase that we saw yesterday where he was speaking of like, the Israelites or, the tribe of Judah, and like everyone has literally chosen to separate themselves from me. And even the leaders are, and I was like, man, this reminds me of the Pharisees.
Yes.
Where the people that are supposed to know the law and follow God's commands, even they are foolish and out here like just not obeying. not even they are upright.
Not even,
and that's their job. Like literally, you have one job. Like
you got one job,
and they're not even doing that. And I was just like, ooh, ooh.
And just think about today. Come on, if he looked in the city full of people, would he say Victoria at least is the one upright? I don't know. Would he say that he could find one? If he looked at our leaders in the church, would he be able to say our leaders are pursuing him faithfully? Right? He says, who acts justly and who pursues faithfulness. That's what he's looking for. I'm just wondering, and I think this is just like a big, for me, because sometimes I walk around as if like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, because like when the stakes are so high.
Yeah.
Like these stakes are high. When the stakes are high, would you be able to just be able to stand firm and be like, yeah, 10 toes down, I'm just and righteous and faithful to the Lord?
No, like literally, I feel like in marriage, if I have never felt so like, Lord, like just having that mirror and that reflection and things come up in me that God is bringing to the surface, and like just the pruning and the purifying and the sanctification, like all the different things, like I get it now. You know, like I'm just like, wait a minute.
There's stuff in my heart.
There is literally stuff that can God look at me and say that I'm blameless, right? Like how he did with Job. And like you said, even in this situation, like, will he even say I'm upright when he told me not to like sin in my anger, yet I still said what I wanted to say. Literally. So it's like, man, I feel and see the weight of that. And I think what's often good to apply in these scriptures is not think that we're just so far off from it.
Yeah.
Because we just read yesterday how it's like, you know, the same ones who saying, surely, like, no, I haven't sinned, they get wiped out too, because he's like, no, you lying. Like, so yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's real. That's real. And then he proclaims that the judgment's coming.
Yeah.
You know, in verse 14, it begins, and in 15, he says, I'm about to bring a nation from far away against you, house of Israel. This is the Lord's declaration, is an established nation, an ancient nation, a nation whose language you don't even know, and whose speech you don't understand. And I love just how seamless the Bible is, right? Yeah. Where like Isaiah is saying the same thing.
Yep.
Neither one of them has said that this is a nation from close by, or this is a neighboring nation. It's a familiar one. It's the Philistines again. No, they are both saying that this is a far off land that is going to come and attack y'all, and even gives names of them. Like, I mean, he doesn't, and it's not in this chapter, but like the Lord is not secretive though about what's about to happen. Yeah. And so, but like you said, the grace the other day, like you said in verse 18, but even in those days, this is the Lord's declaration, I will not finish you off. Like he said, he just leaves that remnant.
He does. And what I love about what you pointed out, where we have this moment of seeing him say like he's going to bring a nation that is unknown. The scriptures before that, they're literally just so like, oh, surely the Lord isn't going to bring any famine, and like, you know, like in their mind they think they know it all.
They do.
And I feel like this was God's way of showing like, you don't know everything. Yeah, you don't even know half of the parts of the earth and even the types of people that I oversee. Yeah. So guess what? I'm going to bring a nation that you don't even know about, since y'all think y'all know everything. That's going to take you out.
That's good.
Right?
No, that's real good.
I was just like, oh, yeah. Like, because you see a lot of that, like, in their language, where oftentimes, like, they think that the Lord is just this God that doesn't see everything. Yeah. Like, surely he doesn't see what I'm doing. And you know, just thinking that we're just hiding stuff when God sees it all. Yeah. And yeah, I just thought that was just so clever.
Yeah, no, that is, because I miss that. I miss that connection that you just brought out. How like at first in 12 and 13, they're like, no harm will come against us. No. And then 14 is when he says, therefore. That's the therefore part. Yep. I'm going to bring these people. Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy because it's like, since you know everything, let me bring these people you don't even know about.
Right. And then I feel like they kind of put their foot in their mouths because it seemed like they were specific about like how the ways that things that God wasn't going to do. So like specifically it said a famine. And then now it's like, well, now he's going to bring a famine because since y'all thought that I wasn't going to, like, just give me more things that I'm actually going to do to show you that I really am God.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I love 23 and 24. You just call some stubborn people again. We've heard this language before, time and time again, from when they were still in Egypt, right? Stubborn, stiff-necked people. Yeah. Right? That, like, in rebellious hearts. And they have not said, let's fear the Lord. And wow, like he said, they have no clue what's about to happen.
Yeah, they really don't.
31 says, the prophets prophesy falsely and the priests rule by their own authority.
Yeah.
My people love it like this. But what will you do at the end of it?
It was my people love it. They love it like this.
Comfortable.
Like, and it reminds me of people who often seek teaching that's going to be affirmative to them.
Yep. Stuff I'm comfortable with. I like it like
that. Like, give me all the prosperity. Yep. Give me all that the Lord is going to bless me. Give me all of the good things. But the moment that there is something that is going to cause conviction.
Suffering. Submission.
Right. Me having to endure some things.
Loving someone that is hard to love. Forgiving.
I was just...
You about to hit the forgiveness?
Forgiving.
Woo-wee.
As soon as it requires me to make a sacrifice, then I'm out.
I got to go find a new priest. A new preacher. This church
I'm leaving this church. Yeah. I'm leaving this church because they said something I didn't like. And I just thought about the danger of it, though, is that it seems like in this time, it was so many of these false prophets. How could, in a sense, someone who is super oblivious even know the difference?
Right.
They're thinking this is the way. And yet they're being like led astray.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man.
Yeah. We'll be mindful.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to say, it's just, there's nothing new under the sun.
It's not.
Nothing new under the sun.
This is how we test. This is how we test the word of people, right? So it's like, as we say, we're joking of like, I don't like what they're saying, but how do we see, okay, what this person is teaching or preaching is not what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But Lord, is it something that I need to hear and obey? Okay, well, at least we have this.
Yep.
To test
the
spirit, right? To test the teaching against. And if what they are teaching aligns with this, and you pray, like, Holy Spirit, help me even interpret what your text is saying, so it's not being twisted or misconstrued. And because the Bible, like we say, it's so like sequential that like, and it aligns with itself and it doesn't like contradict itself, that like you can find that teaching multiple times in this book, right? And it is like, let us find here where it affirms this is what the Lord wants from me.
Yes.
And then if it rubs you the wrong way, oh well.
And oh well, like literally, oh well. And I love that I think it was the same chapter. It started talking about God desiring like just justice, if you will, where I think it mentioned, I think it was, what was it? It was situations where, let's just say like, the widows or the fatherless or like those people, they're just being treated poorly and stuff. Okay. And I just feel like, yeah, they probably just was in a time where even the people that were in position that could bring on just certain justices and stuff, like even they were just so corrupt that were not doing what they were supposed to do. And it's just like, man, like you can't even trust the leaders again, like that were supposed to be doing certain things. And yeah, it's really wild.
Yeah, and that's that verse 13 that stuck out to me, and what you're saying about that, like even the leaders. It says, from the least to the greatest of them, everyone is making profit dishonestly. From prophet to priest, everyone deals falsely. They have treated my people's brokenness superficially, claiming peace, peace, when there is no peace.
Ooh.
Like, that's the crazy, shalom. Shalom. Okay, no. That person's poor.
Right.
And y'all supposed to be fasting, and in your time of fasting, you're supposed to be giving to others. This is what we learned a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
That our fasting was supposed to be an opportunity to serve, not ourselves, but others.
Yeah.
And that money they're supposed to be bringing to the storehouse, like, listen, it's supposed to go help the people.
Exactly.
It's supposed to, but you trying to get money for yourself. Making profit. When have we ever seen priests supposed to be making profit? And remember when we were going in the Bible back in the day, and like it was like, what is it, like Deuteronomy or Leviticus, when they had the rules of the Levites, and the Levites, there was like, take care of the Levites and the priests, and it was in the same sentence as with the widows and the orphans.
Sure did.
Because we knew that there was going to be the poor ones,
exactly,
and the broke ones, because they weren't making money.
Yep.
Like, the only thing that they had was the tent that the people were supposed to bring, and the food and the offering, and the allotment of lands. But they couldn't go out and be shepherds and go out and trade and go out and so they're supposed to be lowly. And they're making profit. How are you making profit? You ain't got no job but to be working at the temple. What's happening?
And this is what I feel like is a big problem in our world today, where I can just imagine God looking at us, looking at this world, looking at America, who has come up with so many great schemes of making a profit, right? Like, you have billionaires and like all these different sources and resources.
Resources, for sure.
Yet there is still so much homelessness.
So much.
The ones who are supposed to be getting, taken care of.
Yeah.
Out on the streets. And it makes no sense, especially being in a land and in a place that has so much prosperity.
Yeah.
And I feel like you probably often hear people say, like, well, I wish I had enough to do X, Y, or Z.
Right.
Or like, if we calculate the amount of homeless people here, like, it would, even the resources wouldn't be enough. But I really, truly believe that there is something that God does in the way that he blesses whenever you take what is his anyways, and give it to those who are in need, and watch him just bring it back to continue the cycle of continuing to like make sure that everyone is taken care of. And so, I just like, man, I know he upset.
Yeah. And it might not be that if you give $50, the Lord's going to give you 50 back.
Right.
And it's not going to always be that when I start giving, I'm just going to have overflow. And the overflow might not look like you thought it would, right?
Exactly.
But sometimes the Lord always has us at this place where, like, okay, we still leaving check to check. And I'm still relying on God every month. But he's still requiring me to give. But yet, my bills are getting paid.
Yep.
I actually haven't skipped any meals. I actually have what I need. But I'm not like money in the bank.
Right.
I don't have tens of thousands of dollars saved up. I might not even have 1,000 saved up.
Right.
But knowing that God is our source, should still be allowing us like to give out of that pocket, because it's, like you said, it's God's anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I think that's so good, and it is a challenge of ours, right? To make sure that we're not trying to be so comfortable to the point where we're not willing to look out for those who need it. So yeah, man, it requires trust though. It requires a level of trust, and God just shows how trustworthy he is though.
He does.
Time after time.
We have his whole book from thousands of years ago.
Yes.
To remind us of who God is and who he has been over the years.
Yeah.
Good grief. It still be hard.
It is.
I still be looking. Listen, Target still gets me with coupons. I still be relying on
It's the
coupons.
It is.
Relying on.
Come on, give me. I love a good sale, a good discount. Give it to me.
Give it to me. No, I ain't got no business.
Right.
But I have to. The Lord like, no, you don't. Anyways, that's just for another day.
Man, there's just so much good things. There was something in 5, and even if there's other things in, I know we got chapters 5 through 8 today, but I love just these sprinkles of just God just calling out the hearts of those at this time. In verse 8, it says they are well-fed, lusty stallions, each neighing for another man's wife. So he's like literally calling out like, yeah, like it seems like this is a time where everyone is just so greedy.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't even have to just be lusting after someone else's like person, but it's like I'm looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
Like
always
looking for the next thing or the next idol I can make and worship and like all these different things. But man, I was just like, yeah, it's wild.
It's sad. It's sad. I wanted to even just point out this verse 20 in chapter 6.
Okay.
Where it was like, what use to me is frankincense from Sheba or sweet cane from a distant land?
Yeah.
Your burnt offerings are not acceptable. Your sacrifices do not please me. And I want to recall saying that the frankincense was part of like this offering to the Lord to just like relish in his presence and just like to tell him like this like thankfulness and you know that it was just like not prescriptive, right?
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to just give to the Lord, but he's like, I don't want that.
Isn't that crazy? Like you said, like which were things that was in the law, like the things that he said to do. And there was even, I don't know if we will get to it today, but in our reading for this week, there was a moment where he said, don't even fast and come to me. Like,
don't.
Leave all of that where you picked it up from.
Because your heart.
Yeah.
Your heart is far from me. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. So can we jump to 7?
Yeah.
Are you ready for 7?
I am. I was literally just skimming through it, and man, mine's is titled "False Religion, Worthless."
Mine says "False Trust in the Temple."
Ooh.
Come on, somebody.
Let's get into it.
Location is key.
Yes. Yes. Come on.
Yeah. So, did you have something?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, I thought it was interesting where he had Jeremiah positioned. In verse 1, it says, "This is the word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah from the Lord. It says, stand in the gate of the house of the Lord." And I'm like, you took him to the front doors of the church.
Yep. Woo.
Front doors of the church. And it was like, listen, all you people. Verse 3, correct your ways and your actions, and I will allow you to live in this place. And it just goes on. And in verse 6, like we were talking about, it says, if you no longer oppress the resident alien, the fatherless, and the widow, and no longer shed innocent blood in this place or follow other gods. And I mean, he lays out what they're doing. So it's kind of like to that ignorance part, or like, oh, I feel no shame, or I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, if you do this, that I will allow you to live in the land, in this place, the land I gave to your ancestors long ago, forever. But look, you keep trusting in deceitful words that cannot help.
Yep.
And yeah, he just goes on and just lays the stuff. And I just think it's crazy that like he is sitting or standing in the front of the temple, proclaiming these things, knowing that the priests are there listening, and some of probably the people of the land. And yeah,
I can't even just stop there, because I was about to point out verse 11, but I got to start in verse 9 because it gets good. He said, will you steal and murder, commit adultery and perjury, burn incense to Baal,
still on Baal,
and follow other gods you have not known, and then come and stand before me in this house.
No. That bears my name. Come
that
on.
bears my name. And say we are safe.
So we can continue doing all these detestable things.
I said, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wait a minute.
And then here go verse 11. Has this house, which bears my name, become a den of robbers to you? But I have been watching. He said, I've been watching. Was that, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there a moment where Jesus also talked about the whole den of robbers situation?
Yeah.
With the Pharisees,
yes.
I'm sure, probably.
At the temple. A house of thieves, yep.
And they still...
Yep. So like hundreds of years later, we're still doing it. The same thing.
Still doing it. And I just love that God pointed it out, and I feel like it goes to show if we was to make this practically to today's day. Just because I walk into a church and I'm in the house of the Lord and I'm worshiping, I'm crying, I'm doing the things like whatever does not mean that what I do Monday through Saturday does not matter.
You better knock it off. You better stop it, I said.
Because literally God said, but I see you.
I see you.
And this building per se is not the thing that keeps you safe. You staying in me.
Right.
What Jesus said, remain in me as I am in you. That's where your security and safety comes from, because I am the one that is your fortress.
Yep. Not this temple. No, but the crazy thing, and I love that you pointed this out, because the crazy thing is it wasn't like they were doing this stuff in the temple all the time, right? Because he's like, you doing all these other things. You're stealing, you're monitoring, you're burning incense to bell, all this stuff on the side. And then you come. That means you were out here doing it. You're out here doing it, and then you come to my house. That bears my name. And asking to be rescued here. Which is crazy. Because like you said, we might not be burning incense to Baal right now, but we sure do have our idols in the modern day that we run to. And we worship every week. Okay, whether it's our phones. Or it's people.
Or money.
Or things, right? Or ourselves.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
So that's wild. That's wild. I'm glad that you pointed that out.
No, for real. And he continues on to talk about like, because I think this was actually before we're going to see a moment of Jeremiah just praying and pleading on behalf of the people. Yeah. But God had already said it, and I'm glad I saw this because I didn't even see this sooner. He said in verse 16, so after all this, so do not pray for this people, nor offer any plea or petition for them. Like, he's laying out, and I love that he is a guy, like you mentioned this before, that he's not keeping anything a secret, right? Like, now he's laying it out that I am showing you, like, plain as day, clear as day, why what's going to come onto you is going to happen.
Yep.
And it's literally wild because he brought it to the temple, man.
Yeah.
And ooh.
He said, as for you, okay, listen, Jeremiah, stop praying for these people. If you don't knock it off, I'm not gonna listen.
Listen.
He like la 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 la.
And you better be lucky, because listen, don't push me.
It is. In verse 21 here, it was just like,
oh yes, good.
Mine's titled, obedience over sacrifice, right?
Come on.
And he's just like, add your burnt offerings to your other sacrifices and eat the meat yourselves. Okay? Like, just go do that on your own time, because he went all the way back to his ancestors. When your ancestors were in Egypt, like, you know what? I didn't even command them these things.
Yeah.
Like, I did not speak with them or command them concerning burnt offerings and sacrifice. However, I did give them this command, right? Before we even did sacrifices, before I even asked them to bring anything to a temple, this is what I asked. And this is so true, because these are the 10 commandments, right?
Yeah.
Before there was even a tabernacle.
Yep.
Mount Sinai. 10 Commandments. It was obey me.
Yes.
Obey me. Then I will be your God, and you will be my people. Follow every way I command you so that it may go well with you.
Yep.
Yet they didn't listen or pay attention, but followed their own advice and their own stubborn, evil heart. They went backward and not forward. Isn't that whack? I'm sorry. I don't know any other word to say.
No, for real. I love it. Isn't that whack?
Just know that, like, you've been going on all these years and you done went backwards, not forward.
Literally. Where's the progression? Like, in fact, y'all have gotten deeper and deeper into sin. Like,
yep.
The further it's gotten into time, the further away y'all gotten from God. Like, man, and I do love, because that was one of the verses I highlighted. Walk in obedience to all I command. And again, we've probably heard this. Some people you may have heard, like, people preach the scripture, or just like the whole obedience is better than sacrifice. And it's just like, no, for real. Like, we see time after time, like, before you give me anything, make sure that you're actually following in my ways.
Right.
And we even get to see the scripture too in the New Testament, where even I guess it was, Jesus talks about, like, if you know that you've offended someone,
go back,
make amends, and then come to me. And so, it's crazy. And we get to see the start of chapter 8 before we close today, is like the Valley of Slaughter. How there is, what he said is coming. Like, it's literally about to be a slaughterhouse. Like, for the sins of what they've committed. And I love that he's using Jeremiah to let the people know that it's not, and we'll see that we'll see him say this often, like, in case they ask you, like, why are you doing this, and why are we feeling the wrath of the Lord? It's because of this.
It's because of this. Play straight up.
Yeah.
He just says it real plain. Yeah.
It's wild. Man.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, that title for at the beginning of chapter 8 for me is called Death Over Life. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah. Yeah, he's really, like, over it.
He is.
Because on verse 6, I paid careful attention. They do not speak what is right. No one regrets his evil, asking, what have I done? Everyone has stayed his course like a horse rushing into battle. Yep. Like, guys, come on now.
Yeah.
Yep, death will be chosen over life. Yeah. And that's that 3. I feel like verse 3 says, death will be chosen over life by all the survivors of this evil family, those who remain wherever I have banished them. And I'm like, I don't want to choose death.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of Joshua, where it was kind of like these blessings versus the curse, right?
Yeah.
And what Moses had given them too was like these blessings over there. Okay, these are the blessings. These are the blessings. If you follow.
Right.
These are the curses. If you don't follow. And so I feel like it's like, okay, we'll choose curse. Well, I'm going to choose curse for 500, please. No.
Oh my goodness.
We're not doing this.
No, we really not.
Yeah. But then, it's like, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, like, wait, should I let you go? Well, this is going to backtrack a little bit to the beginning of chapter 8.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was wild. I just got to read it. It says, at that time, declares the Lord, the bones of the kings and of the officials of Judah, the bones of the priests and the prophets and the people of Jerusalem will be removed from their graves. They will be exposed to the sun and the moon and all the stars of the heavens, which they have loved and served, in which they have followed and consulted and worshiped. They will not be gathered up or buried, but will be like dung lying on the ground.
Oh my goodness.
Wherever I banish them, all the survivors of this evil nation will prefer death to life. Think of that, death to life, declares the Lord Almighty. And I just thought it was so wild. Like, what?
Wow. That's crazy.
The thing that he created, the stars and the moons and all these different things, like, they out here worshiping it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, all these dead kings, the ones who they was out here wilding too, and turning you guys for me. I have something for them too. He ain't playing.
He's gangster. Like, when I say, like, gangster, like mafia gangster, like, he gangster.
I agree.
Like, because even when I'm looking at this, I was like, wait, where the kings were buried and laid was such a prestigious thing of honor, right? Yep. Because when we read it, it was like, and he was buried with the kings of Israel, or kings of Judah, and he was buried with the kings. And then, like, the trash kings, like, sometimes they just didn't get buried, right? But he's like, oh, y'all trash, except for David, and except David, yeah. But, like, all you evil ones who's worshiping, like you said, these things that I've created. Well, here you go in your burial place. You think you're going to be sleeping in peace? Nah, I'm just going to unearth you.
That's right. I'm going to unearth you. No, for real. Because ain't no resting in peace.
There ain't none.
Ain't none of that.
Yeah, go look at them stars in your death. Wow.
Yeah, but, man, I think that's all I have for this chapter. Is there anything else you have before we close out?
I have one last
thing. Yeah, you had something.
I have one last thing. Verse 8. It's not profound, but it was just like, how can you claim we are wise? The law of the Lord is with us. In fact, the lying pen of scribes has produced falsehood. Ooh. And I just was just like, don't ever think we wiser than we are. Don't even think that, because they just believing in lies. But that's all I got for today.
No, listen, drops Mike, and we're gonna drop the pen because they out here lying. No, that's good. It's, again, to make it applicable to today. We have the law.
We have the law
of the Lord, and we just better do our best to honor it.
Please,
literally, because we do have be held accountable.
Yeah. This is why I have to read this Bible every year.
No, seriously.
Because y'all know I'm going to forget. My brain is not good enough. I'm going to forget. Oh, yeah, Lord, I'm supposed to be doing that.
Oh, yeah, you told me to do that.
I'm out here thinking I'm shameless. All right, anyway.
Right. Man, this is so good. I can't wait to even just continue this conversation throughout this week. But we gave y'all a lot to chew on. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's discussion. And we'll be picking back up tomorrow. So make sure you do your reading and join us tomorrow as we go through the next 4 chapters in Jeremiah. And I'm super excited. So see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Vibes Daily Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or download our favorite, the Vibes Church app. Visit vibes.church/devoted for additional episodes, notes, details, and the latest merch. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the Bible. Take good care.